Welcome to the Roasted Snow Horror Show,
where fear and dread go head to head.
Welcome to the show, where the screams collide, where blood runs cold, and the shadows hide. Each week a fight, two films will clash. Last week's champ, will it burn to ash? The Roasted Snow Horror Show, where fear and gore will always flow. One film wins, one must go. The Roasted Snow Horror Show. Lights go down, the fight begins. Which nightmare takes the final win? You pick your side, we'll break it down. The Roasted Snow, the goriest showdown.
and here are your hosts.
Chris and Ryan.
Welcome everyone to this fucking bananas edition of the Roasted Snow Horror Show. I'm your host, Ryan Roasted. Everybody thinks my last name is Roasted. With me is Chris Snow, Snowman, Sexual Tyrannosaurus, Viagra Pill with a face. Hopefully he doesn't show his non-chest hair this episode.
Are you jealous of my baby skin?
No, I said no, don't do it. God damn it. Now we're already off the rails. That's good.
It's an X-rated podcast.
Yeah, fuck yeah. How you doing, man?
I'm good, buddy. Really good. How are you?
Good. I'm fantastic. I teased it on
You're
our
wearing
last
your bananas hat in honor
a-
of.
You
this
already
film.
know. You already know. This hat is making its own character on this show right now. It is what it's going to be anytime, for those of you that are new, that we see a movie that is literally fucking bananas. This makes an appearance. It made an appearance for Primate. It made an appearance for God, I'm spacing right now. What? It wasn't Undertone. There's been some bananas movies that Anaconda. It made an appearance there. It made our silliest deaths of all time. I think it made an appearance there. So it's a character. Anytime I throw this hat on, shit's about to get real. And I teased it on our last episode that I could have seen this movie 5 minutes before we started recording, and I still am probably going to miss some shit. But
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I may or may not have had a dream about an eyeball chasing me through a vent.
fuck. If Hostel took a comedic turn, guys, I don't even know where to begin to describe this movie. God damn it, we don't really have any pre-show notes here, so I think we're just going to get right into it. I had made the point. It was like 2 weeks ago when we said we were going to do this movie, and I said, you know what, it'll be interesting because it looks like a Ready or Not knockoff.
That's what I thought we were getting into.
Mhm.
I had no idea what we were getting into.
Which I would like to sincerely apologize to anyone involved in the making of Ready or Not, or not Ready or Not. They Will Kill You, because I was only partially right. And let me pull up my note here because it's a long one. I
wrote down Zazie Beetz uses swords. Pretty good.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Just zip it, Black Widow. Which brings me to my next point here. My one phrase review for this movie is if Ready or Not, Pirates of the Caribbean, John Wick, Deadpool, Kingsman, Beetlejuice, and 300 all had an orgy, this is the movie you'd come out with. And they got pregnant. This is the movie that would come out. And every time I was making that, I would think of a new movie. So if you have a movie that fits into this, throw it into that too, because we'll have a
Harry
ton.
Potter?
Yeah, there's some Harry Potter in there. I was like, because each one of these movies that I just listed have some part to do with this movie. Loosely, it is
Bananas.
I don't even know like where to like the basic spoiler-free premise of this is this woman, she is hired on as a maid at this hotel in Manhattan.
Well, say her name. She has a very strange. It's not strange, but I don't know why you'd name your kid this.
Asia.
Asia.
Yes, Asia. She is at this hotel, and turns out that this hotel, which you've seen in the previews, is it's not a hotel, it is a temple to Satan, which is where we thought the Ready or Not, correlations are coming. And there are a lot of Ready or Not-ish things here. But basically, she has to survive the night because she is trying to be killed by guests, by other maids, and it's basically a huge cat and mouse game, much like Ready or Not is. So I wasn't completely off base with that, but from how you get from point A to point B, you're gonna need some gas because it's gonna take you. Yeah, it is. You go to get from point A to point B, you have to first go through C, then D, then E, then Z, then back to B. The easiest way I can make this sound. But what were your, aside from being bananas, what were your general thoughts on this when you left the theater?
So I had I like I said earlier, I didn't really know what I was going to get into. I knew it was going to be like a comedy horror film, right? I knew I was going to, there were some laughs. It wasn't going to take itself too seriously. I like horror like that. I think you and I have talked about it at length on this show. Like I also like to get a laugh out of it as well as being scared. I didn't know that the action aspect was going to be there too. As soon as it's not the first scene. As soon as Kevin and Sharon decide to pay Asia a visit on her first night in the hotel, and that whole thing went down, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a lot different than what I was expecting." And the thrill ride did not end. I mean, it just kept going.
Let me put it this way: if we had done our top 5 funniest kills episode a week later. There may be one or two on this list from this movie, which is odd to say because there aren't actually like a ton of actual true deaths, which we'll
there's a reason. Yeah, we'll get into that.
Yes, there's a big reason for it. But I was the same way. That scene happened in her room, and I'm just like, okay, that is interesting. I was also going to put in here, it's a little Pulp Fiction-y too, or Kill Bill. There's a lot of Kill Bill aspects. I actually meant to put that in there. So we may think of movies that will be added into this cinematic orgy anytime. So it just I was like, that was like Pirates of the Caribbean. That was like 300.
That was like Kill Bill. That was like
Kill Bill. Yeah. Oh, that was like Beetlejuice.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot of different things here. I don't know how I can talk about this without getting into spoilers. So earlier than normal, we're getting to the spoiler territory.
Jump right in, baby. Let's jump in and get wet.
Take us off.
Well, so let's start. The movie begins actually before the events. So we are looking at some time about 10 years before the actual events of the movie happened. We have our protagonist, Asia Reeves, I think was her name, with her little sister, Maria. And you can tell that their upbringing hasn't been very good. They're actually fleeing from their father in this first scene. Abusive father, he kind of obviously wants to hurt both of them. He has been hurting both of them. He chases them into a store, and rather than him actually catch up to them and do something, Asia actually just shoots him. It's like, I'm not going to be abused by you. We're not going to be chased by you anymore. Asia shoots him. She gets arrested. And Maria goes into custody, of course, because, if you kind of shoot your father, they, of course, would take you into making you a ward of the state. So those are important.
And actually, the father doesn't die.
So
she actually goes back into his custody.
No.
And so the abuse continues. Yep.
So we actually get to our main film about 10 years after this. So our protagonist, Zazie Beetz, Asia, arrives at a hotel called The Virgil, which is in New York. It's a really nice looking high-rise building, in the middle, and like think of it like Manhattan. Think of your basic.
It's next to the Continental.
Yeah. The John Wick references are pretty amazing. But yeah, right next to the Continental. She is kind of coming as the new maid. But she has an ulterior motive, and that is to find her sister, Maria, who she knows is a maid at the Virgil as well. So she's greeted downstairs, and I thought the name of the building manager was pretty interesting. Her name is Lilith. like Lilith, the demon Lilith,
Mhm.
and she lets her know that, hey, she tells her about the backstory of the Virgil. She tells her about the Virgil. She lets her know, like, hey, this building's 100 years old. Only the wealthiest and most elite people, are able to stay here. The whole rigmarole. And Aisha, again, she has an ulterior motive. She's looking for Maria, and that I just want to jump right to that night because nothing super pertinent happens until this evening. So Asia is sleeping, and during the night, while she is sleeping, a bunch of masked people break into her room. And I should say two of these masked people are a couple called Kevin and Sharon, but we'll get to them in a minute. They break in and they attack her. Now, this is where, so kind of like I said in the intro, Ryan, this is where I realized, oh, this movie's going to be a lot different than I thought it was going to be, because they attack her, but Asia is well armed, might be the way to put it. And she is clearly no pushover. She knows exactly how to kick some ass. And that's exactly what she does. She kills everybody that's attacking her.
She decapitates, she cuts them in half.
It
cuts off a
Kill
hand.
Bill.
Yeah. Like, and what I didn't like about this was because the blood splatter is kind of over the top. Like, she decapitates one of the dudes. Yeah, and it's just, and so you're just like, oh shit. And like within this, it's like Heather Graham is in this. Our boy Draco Malfoy. Yep. he should have worn the invisibility cloak. Yeah. He should have worn the invisibility cloak here. But so you're just like, okay, she's not fucking around. So then she is able to kind of stumble out into the hallway of the hotel, and there's Lilith is sitting there at the end of the hallway, and she's just kind of like, come on, like, we just have to do this. That, sorry, we didn't think that, you would make it like this, but that now there's a mess. And this is, so you had the part where they were in the room and wasn't what you were expecting. This next part is where I was like, what the fuck are we getting into? Because, well, so
it's funny you say you wonder, because I wonder as well.
Yes,
I wonder.
Well, no, before the shotgun part.
Before this, well, yeah, as she's talking to Lilith, or as she completes talking to Lilith, something's happening to the people that she just killed, and they're pretty much just kind of resurrecting. She decapitated some of them, she sliced and diced them, and they're coming right back to life.
They're shirt cocking it. They're Deadpool in it.
They're back in this.
Yep.
Just Donald ducking it.
And they come out of the hotel room that she just killed all these guys in. Her victims come out of the hotel room just like, one is holding his severed hand, one is holding his fucking severed head.
It's very Headless Horseman-esque. He's walking out, he's got it like that.
And they slowly start to regenerate. Like, the headless guy, like all the tendons and the skin pull his head back on. So you're just like, oh, we're dealing with some immortal bitches here. This is interesting. So I'm just going to jump around because there's so much shit that happens that, but we'll get to your favorite scene because now you understand what you're dealing with. Not only is it the satanic cult that wants to ritualistically kill her, but she cannot kill them. At least in Ready or Not, they could die. And in this, they don't get blown up into bloody bits if they don't complete the ritual. There's a very, they don't actually have to complete a ritual. It's just something that they have come accustomed to and that they need to do in their own mind in order to keep their predicament, let's say. So there's this really comical chase through the vents. It's like super, it's almost like if you're watching a YouTube video on 2x speed. They're crawling through the vents. Basically, Heather Graham and Asia, they get into a scuffle. And since you're very into this part, I will let you explain what happened.
So Kevin and Sharon are chasing her through the vents, and Sharon and Asia get into a bit of a scuffle. And suffice to say that there is a shotgun involved in the scuffle. And Asia does get a hold of it, and she manages to put the barrel extremely close to Sharon's head and pull the trigger. So pretty much blows Sharon's head to smithereens. If you guys saw, you remember in Terminator 2 when the T-1000 opens up the elevator door, Arnold is just right there with the shotgun and blows his head in half. Pretty close representation. Now, remember, they're not dying, so she doesn't die, and you come to find out that Sharon, I don't know how to explain it. Sharon's eyeball is sentient and gives
apparently
chase. Yeah, it can operate on its own, and pretty much gives chase to to Asia and Ray. She's met up with Ray, who is another. She's pretty much, I should say, after she dispatches Sharon, I should say, she's saved by Ray, who's Lilith's husband. And this is where you actually get the backstory of what is happening at the Virgil. So he explains to her that the Virgil is a temple to Satan, and the residents, they're all immortal, and the way they get immortality and stay immortal is by performing human sacrifices. So that's why they were going to kill Asia from the grip. So
and their name ends up on a list, and as long as their name is on this list, they're immortal. And all while yeah, Asia, they
travel up a floor.
Yes,
and Sharon's eyeballs following them.
It's like slingshotting up the elevator. And there's all these like zoom ins on all these like action set pieces. That's very Kill Bill. And it actually reminded me, I could have put this on here, Kung Pao Enter the Fist. I don't know if you've ever seen that one, but the scene where they're just kind of reminded me of that. I busted out laughing in this movie so many times.
When she meets, well, we're getting to it, but when she knocks someone out in order to get her to come with her.
Yes,
like,
yes.
Oh, okay, that's one way to do it.
So, and actually, when she is crawling with
Ray.
What'd you say? Ray, yeah. Ray wants to play. When she's crawling to escape with him, they pass by this certain floor and they look down, and I mentioned an orgy before. Yeah. See, there's shit that we forget. Like, and there is a huge orgy going on. They call it the sex floor. And she's like, what the hell is this? And he's like, well, immortality gets boring sometimes. And so then they end up in this basically like hotel room that's like a sex dungeon, play toys, all that. And the eyeball is just like staring at him from the top of the vent. And this is where she's able to find where her sister is. And they do a cool, like, each character does a little backstory. Like, you find out the way that Asia was able to learn all these skills was in prison. For it, like, she ended up kicking people's ass, and so that's how she learned to be a badass bitch. You find out what happened to her sister after after the incidents there in the last 10 years. She was able to go off on her own, essentially, and she's with some bad people. Again, you grow up in that situation, you end up with bad people. She ends up finding a flyer to work at the Virgil. Turns out that she was intended to be a sacrifice, but they play by their own rules here. And if you break the rules, then that's when you could end up being a sacrifice. So she is actually spared, as long as she is willing to go along with whatever they want. And part of that is to work as a maid in the hotel. And this is where Asia decides to deliver some Asia justice to because her sister isn't going to go with her. She's like, fuck you. You left me for 10 years. I'm not going anywhere with you. Like, where the hell have you been?
It's very similar to the sisters in Ready or Not, Here I Come.
Exactly. It very much so. And so she just ends up knocking her out, just out of nowhere. She just like, socks her. Boom. She's out.
You're too stupid to make decisions. I'll make them for you.
Right. Exactly. Which pretty fair. And at this point, the eyeball has basically been it falls down. And I believe she takes it in her hand and she just squishes it. Oh man, it's just this
because
movie gets
she's starting to regrow. She's starting to regrow her head.
Mm-hmm. And there's a part where she walks into a room and she's got the little tiny head on the human body, and it's Beetlejuice. It's the dude from Beetlejuice, the shrunken head.
Played by the beautiful Heather Graham, by the way. She's almost 60 and she looks great.
Dude, I know. I was like
she doesn't age.
Watching it, I'm like, that can't be Heather Graham. And then I looked it up. I was like, sure as shit, it's Heather Graham. She's in The Hangover, The Spy Who Shagged Me,
Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights, yeah. She's in a ton of shit. But yeah, so and I know we're going to be jumping around because narratively, I cannot keep this in a chronological order here. I don't even remember how they get there, but they basically get to a one of the floors has just like 100 of these guys in it, these cloaked immortal people, and she just starts left and right fucking them up, killing them, not killing them, but some funny stuff happens here. It's I'm just trying to recollect everything that happens here because there's so much shit.
They get her. It's after she knocks Maria unconscious so she can take her out. Her and Ray get attacked by those cultists. And Asia and Maria end up. They get in the what's the thing? The dumbwaiter.
Ready or not, the dumbwaiter.
Yeah, they get in the dumbwaiter and they go up a floor. But poor Ray ends up getting captured, and Lilith and our girl Sharon with a tiny head, it's capture him and they tie him up, which is kind of sad because Ray is Lilith's husband. So you're like, what, Lilith? Why are you treating your husband this way? But we get to that a little bit later.
Yeah, and they have a nice conversation because she's like, "Why are you helping them out?" And he's just like, "Look, when we first started this, we were killing bad people. We were, it was really easy to find. Now times have changed. The neighborhood's changed. Like we're just taking innocent people off the street now and doing this." So he's felt very guilty, and they've been at this a long time, like at least 100 years or close to 100 years.
They're probably killing the rich and the bad, like rich, horrible people who look down on the lower class.
Yeah, and now it's just whoever,
anyone they can get.
Yeah, so and they keep saying, they're like, well, we're gonna have to take you to, I forget what they call it. Like, do they call him the boss? Do they call him the I forget what they call him, but
the head,
higher
power, higher up, the higher ups, I think.
Yeah,
something like that.
The head of the table, the whatever it was in Ready or Not. Same type of deal. It's this mysterious person that you don't know who it is, but basically Ray has broken the rules, so that is why he is being held, and they got to see what the powers that be say, which is a pretty scary predicament to be in there. Basically, and I forget if they're captured again or if they just go straight up to meet the head.
Well, this is where Maria, we kind of get a moment between Maria and Asia because she explains like, hey, this is what happened. I left our father right before he died from cancer, and I just kind of been working. I've been on the run. I've been on the lam basically. I've been working in sleazy motels. I was so excited when I got hired at the Virgil. I was gonna be sacrificed, just like they kill everybody else. But and this is why she doesn't want to leave, is because they spared her for whatever reason. I don't remember exactly why they spared her, but they spared her, and now she enjoys she's kind of got it on easy street. They're not going to kill her. They decided to leave her alive. The Virgil is a nice hotel, so she's like, it's kind of nice to just be able to enjoy the comfort of this building and live here and all of that stuff. So now, and during that same moment, we actually see that the conversation between Lilith and Ray. Lilith demands that everyone who lives here, all the residents of the building, all the staff, all the maids, all the cooks, everybody needs to start looking for the sisters. Everyone tracks them down. So, Maria gets captured because she actually saves Asia from one of the cultists. She gets captured, and Asia. This is actually super cool because Asia goes after them, and this is where she has that amazing burning axe. You remember that? Yeah,
so I actually put that in here that the flaming axe beats a shovel in rock, paper, scissors. So she, what a fucking weapon, man. Like it, and I forget even like if she lights it on fire or if it just ends up on fire. But yeah, she starts fucking everybody up with this flaming axe.
Awesome.
Yeah,
so awesome.
She's cutting people in half. She's ripping limbs off, right and left.
And this is where Lilith tells them that to gain immortality, kind of going back to what we said in the beginning earlier in the show, you have to make a human sacrifice. So Lilith tells Maria that in order to gain immortality, she needs to sacrifice the maid that Asia was saying she was.
Yes, and the whole reason Asia is pretending to be this maid called Isabel something. Basically, it was unfortunate circumstance. Maria was supposed to kill this maid. Turns out to be her sister. That she injected herself into this situation, and so now it's this conundrum. It's like, okay, I care about my sister. Do I let her sacrifice me? This and that. Which this part almost lost me a little bit, but ended up being kind of funny. You see this entity behind. It's the higher power, this and that. It's a true like demon, like the devil.
Satan.
Shitty CGI, but it ends up possessing this severed boar's head. That's just kind of, ritualistically on an altar and starts talking and starts.
Well, it reminded me of the goat in The Witch.
Yep, exact. Black Phillip. Yep. And you can see that all these names are written on this pig's head, and you're like, oh, that's the list of the people that are immortal. And unfortunately, this boar does not like what Ray did. So I believe it takes its tongue and just erases his name off of it. And then he is killed.
Well, more than that, he not only does he take his name off, he actually forces Lilith, Ray's wife, to kill him.
And he's like, it's okay. It's okay. I'm done. Like, it's all good. Because
he's like, I'm over this.
We all think immortality is super cool, but I mean, it get pretty lonely and pretty repetitive there. So
especially when you have to kill other people to keep it.
Right. Yeah. At least in Pirates of the Caribbean, they could,
just hold on to the gold.
Yeah. I have much gold. Yeah. So he dies, and then now you get to the conundrum. It's like, does Maria take out Asia? What's gonna happen here? You want to take us home on this bad boy?
So the climax of this movie is bloody as hell. It's one way to say it. So the pig, Satan, tells Maria, "Hey, write your name on my head." Right, because they're pretty much going to induct her or incorporate her into some of the cultists. And Maria pulls a fast one. She actually writes Asia's name on the pig's head. And then, as an ultimate twist, she kills herself.
Yep.
And I don't remember, did she slit her own throat?
It's like a partial throat slit. It's like stabbing herself in the neck. So there's a lot of blood. So then, and you can imagine Asia,
who's immortal now because Maria wrote her name on the pig's head. She pretty much flies into a rage and she murders all the cultists again and again and again. She kills Kevin again. She kills Sharon. She kills the cultists. They're all now. Remember, they're immortal, so they get up. So she just kills. She slaughters everyone in the room. So again, going back to kind of the Kill Bill reference, the amount of blood in this scene was pretty akin to that.
Oh yeah, and then you see her slice off her name from the pig. She takes that piece of flesh and she puts it into her pocket, and so now it's like this. That's why all the cultists are going after her, because they're like, we got to get her name so that we can kill her, and this and that. And then I forget, she just ends up washing off these other names. All these names.
No. So this Satan, Lilith, lets Satan possess her, and then her and Asia have the duel.
That's right. Yeah.
And who Asia wins it, and then she cuts off Lilith's head. But again, remember, all their names are on the thing. But what she does, she takes a can of bleach and she pours the bleach all over the pig's head, and then she sets it on fire, which removes all the names from it. So all the cultists who are all fucked up around the room, they all start dying from injuries.
Like one guy is, tied up with all these chains, and basically it's crushed him, but like he's not dead. And then his name's off, and then he dies.
Lilith dies. Kevin and Sharon finally die. All of them die. They succumb to their injuries because Asia has really sliced and diced them.
Right. And Asia pulls another fast one because she actually writes because if you look at it, Asia, the way it's spelled, you could easily make Maria on there. So she ends up putting Maria's name instead of hers, and then slowly Maria's wound starts to heal and she is back to life. So it's a happy ending for the sisters here. They're going to need a long ass shower after this, but
they're very bloody.
Yes. And they end up setting the hotel on fire, and it's
they Ferris Bueller it because they get into the body, they get into her friend's car and just drive off.
Well, and her friend is pretty funny because he's the one that kind of puts this idea in Asia's head while she's still in prison. Is like, hey, your sister's at this hotel. I think I can get you a job there. And that's where she takes the identity of this other maid to be. And he comes out, he's like, what the hell just happened? And so he's just like, you know what? I don't want to fucking know. I don't want to know one bit at all. It is just, it is such a fun movie, but there's so much going on. It is so hard to process and think about after the fact.
And it goes quick. It's like
it's
fast.
so fast. And the movie's only like an hour and 35 minutes. Like it's not a long movie, and it feels even shorter. It because they bring you into it right away. But I love movies when they know they're going to be chaotic and they just lean into it. They're like, this is going to be ridiculous. I want to make the people laugh in the theater and make sure if they're out with their buddies and they're just going to have a good time watching this. And that's what this is. It's not scary at all. We've talked about it. Yeah, it's very bloody. We've talked about how much we hate the whole cult thing and how we think it's overdone, especially when it's coming out this close to Ready or Not. It did such a good job of separating itself. I don't know if I'm sure it's going to suffer because if you're a casual, you're like, why am I going to see this when I'm going to go see Ready or Not too? Because it's basically the same thing. We can tell you 1,000 times it is not the same thing. It looks like it from the trailer, but it's very derivative. It's not.
It's its own identity. It's really its own film.
Yes, it may have the bones of that structure, but it stands on its own. I'm gonna say it makes Primate look a little boring.
I mean, I will say, like, I love Kill Bill, and as soon as Asia started messing everybody up at the top when they attacked her that first scene, I was like, oh, this is gonna be that kind of movie, and I was all for it.
Yeah, and we have seen this actress in scenes like this, like in the orphanage in Deadpool 2, where she's fucking everybody up in there. It's like you said, she's very good with a sword. All I can do is smile and laugh and just not know where my thoughts are in this because it is that type of movie.
And that's what's great about it is that it knows what it is. It doesn't take itself too seriously. Like this is the kind of horror that, I mean, it's not I wouldn't even say it's horror. It's horror in that,
it's listed as horror.
It's Temple to Satan, and it's, the immortal people are trying to kill her. Like it's all those pieces, but like you can take something that should be a scary premise and you can totally flip it on its head and make it something different. And when it works, it works.
And it worked. Again, I think it's going to suffer because, and I don't even know what they could have done. I think they maybe pick a different release date, not around Ready or Not.
Yeah, it suffers a little bit being very similar to what's out at the same time, for sure.
Yeah, but I recommend go seeing it for sure. We've called some movies a roller coaster ride. This is a fucking, I don't even know how to explain it. I can't believe I forgot to put Kill Bill in the orgy, but that's what this is, man. So since this is completely different than anything we've really covered, does it take out Big Dick Alpha?
It can't, because for a specific reason, in that as much as this does qualify as a horror film, as a horror film, the Bone Temple works better. So that's still in my zeitgeist. So I mean, I might be making some early predictions here, but The Bone Temple might be the best horror film, my best horror film of the year. We'll see. I mean, we're halfway through. We'll see.
We're halfway to Halloween. Yep.
We're halfway to Halloween, exactly. So, so other things could come out. I'm not putting it to bed yet, but yeah, I mean, The Bone Temple is still number one for me.
It's been going strong for a few months here. Mine hasn't been going strong for a few months, but it's not beating Undertone. But not. If we do an end of the year rankings, I mean, I don't know where this is going to end up but it is a damn fun watch. And actually going to The Bone Temple, I actually had one of my coworkers. He texted me on Saturday and he goes, "Hey, have you seen 28 Years Later?" And I'm like, "Well, what do you think?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, okay." And he's like, "I saw that's on Netflix right now." And I was like, "Yeah, and The Bone Temple's on too." So I got to tell you, if you watch 28 Years Later, and you aren't a fan of it, stick it through The Bone Temple, because that is a damn near masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I was like, you don't need to see 28 Days Later, but maybe read the cliff notes so you kind of know what's going on. But yeah, that is very hard to beat. Is Big Dick Alpha is hard to beat.
BGA.
Yeah,
that's
a two-hander. That's a two-hander there. But it's not beating Undertone, but that does not take away from this. I think it's a damn fun ride. It is you guys don't know what we're talking about when you watch it. Like, it is. I don't even know how to process. We could talk about this in a month, and I still might not know how to process it. The goddamn eyeball just shooting it up on the television.
Can I say this too? Like, there's a piece of me that loves getting surprised by movies that are like this. You think you're going into one thing, you think you're going to get something, but then you watch it and it's completely opposite from what you thought it was going to be, or completely different from what you thought it was going to be. I love when that happens. Like, that works really well.
It's always a pleasant surprise. Now, we've had it the other way where you think it's going to be really good. Like The Bride was one. I had something completely different in my mind on that, thinking it was going to be like a continuation of the Frankenstein story and not what it turned out to be. So it happened both ways, but glad it happened this way for this one. Now, we didn't do any recommendations for our last episode because the whole episode is a recommendation. But what do you have this week?
So I'm actually, we may have talked about this one a little while ago. We hinted at it in our last episode, but we didn't officially talk about it as a recommendation. But I want to bring it up tonight because I think it's a really good one you guys check out. This is Blair Witch, not the Blair Witch Project, the sequel, Blair Witch. Like I said, we hinted on it a little bit last week, or not last week, in our last episode on Wednesday. But Blair Witch you and I talked more about like Dr. Sleep as a horror sequel that works, right? I think Blair Witch is another horror sequel that works very well. It does good at establishing its own identity because you feel like, well, it's just a repeat of what happened in the first movie, right? It's not just a spiritual successor. It is a chronological successor to what happened in the first film. It doesn't break the fourth wall, but you understand that it exists in the same universe and it's a direct sequel to the events. It kind of reminds you of what was going on in the cultural zeitgeist during Blair Witch because it uses technology in a different way, like with how you would see if you were in the forest. Like, how would you get lost if you have a smartphone and you have a drone to help you get out, like stuff like that. And that the Blair Witch doesn't really care. Like, technology is not going to save you from this one. There's one scene in the whole movie that doesn't serve it, and that's when it actually shows a monster that's chasing them, and it's a brief, very brief, and it looks like a tree that's moving, but you can tell that it's something otherworldly. They didn't need to do that, but I will say, guys, similar to the first one, there's a cabin that they run into at the end. Something happens. Very scary. Very well done. I'm actually thinking I'm going to watch it tonight before I go to bed.
Oh, there you go. You're not sleeping tonight. Woohoo. Yeah, and I
genuinely scared.
It also builds on like kind of why some of these people get this lost in the woods. And kind of what, like you mentioned, the technology aspect. There's other people that are involved in this one. It is a different feel, but yes, it does add to what the Blair Witch did, and I liked it. I didn't think it was an unnecessary sequel at the time, maybe because you're like, well, let's just let it be. But and again, it does the found footage aspect, which obviously Blair Witch 2, the Book of Shadows did not. It was more of a meta thing. So we're all down for found footage, which brings me to my recommendation. It's not true found footage, but it's one that I stumbled across. I actually wanted to see it in theaters, but it had such a limited release recently. And I found it on Hulu. It's called Strange Harvest. Have you heard of it?
I have not. Strange Harvest.
Strange Harvest. It's very much like the Poughkeepsie tapes.
Okay.
Where it's this mockumentary style, like, you know, cops are giving interviews, and they're talking about this killer called the Mr. Smiley Killer, Mr. Smile Killer, something like that. Really creepy mask looking guy, and kills his people in very demented ways. And they show some, like, you know, body cam footage and this and that. So it does have that where you go from found footage to the documentary style. So if you're not into that, then obviously, you know, it may not hold your attention. However, I think it's really solid. It's a newer one. It's on streaming right now. Check it out. It's Strange Harvest.
Strange Harvest. I'll write it down. That sounds good.
Yeah. You got a week off, so you got time.
I have plenty of time. I'm going to be gaming and watching and reading and napping and playing. It's going to be a good week.
Awesome. Well, with that, guys, next week we're looking at Faces of Death and whatever the hell we want to do on Wednesday. So thank you guys for keeping it up, watching us, listening to us, sticking with us through this bananas episode, because there was really no way we could talk about this in a linear format, because fuck me, this was difficult. Don't have dreams about eyeballs coming up an elevator shaft to stare at you. But other than that, guys, we love you. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Later.
Catch you later.
Thanks for listening to the Roasted Snow Horror Show.
Please follow us on our social media pages and tell your friends.
Pretty please!